If you've been lifting for a while, you probably know the exact feeling. You track every workout on a spreadsheet, you monitor your RPE, you maintain perfect form, and yet your arms haven't grown a single inch in 6 months. Modern fitness culture is built entirely around optimization. We rely on strict biomechanical rules and precise volume management because it keeps us safe and it gives us clean, reliable data we can track week over week. However, this rigid adherence to standardized safety eventually becomes a limitation. The body adapts to the predictable stimulus, and your physical growth completely stalls out. Long before we had apps to track our rest periods, golden era bodybuilders operated on a completely different system. It was chaotic, it relied on biofeedback, and it prioritized absolute intensity over clean data. This comparison matrix shows two very different approaches to training. Mastering the metrics on the left will only get you so far. To break through a stubborn plateau, you have to be willing to trade that standardized safety for raw, unmeasured intensity. Look at the physiques from the 70s and 80s. These athletes built massive, dense muscle long before modern biomechanical science or mobile tracking apps existed. If a fitness influencer today saw Arnold swinging a barbell up to his chin with his entire body, they would call it sloppy ego lifting. By today's evidence-based standards, his form would be widely criticized. These bodybuilders prioritized a philosophy of effort and failure over the specific biomechanics of each individual movement. Their success came from how hard they pushed, not the perfection of their technique. When you compare the optimized routines of an average gym-goer today against the peak physical density these veterans walked around with, the results of their imperfect system speak for themselves. Golden era lifting should be evaluated as a calculated risk-reward system, a tool for advanced hypertrophy that trades textbook form for a more intense stimulus. To understand how this works, we have to map movements based on risk versus hypertrophic stimulus. The x-axis here is your injury risk, and the y-axis is the potential for new muscle growth. Strict curls stay in the safe, moderate stimulus zone, but heavy cheat curls land in the upper right quadrant. You are using body momentum to swing a weight upward that is too heavy for a strict repetition. The momentum allows you to bypass the concentric or lifting limitation of the muscle. This lets you work with a total load that your biceps couldn't handle on their own. This provides the benefit of eccentric overload. Forcing your muscles to control that excessive weight on the descent causes the deep micro tears necessary for new growth. The trade-off is the load placed on the lumbar spine. If you lack elite core stabilization, using momentum with these weights creates a massive risk of serious injury. The golden era cheat is a calculated, high-risk technique used to continue the eccentric phase of a lift for maximum hypertrophic growth. This leads to the concept of training by feel. Instead of following textbook form, lifters would intentionally adjust their movements to find a specific burn or a deep muscle cramp. Adjusting the angle of the elbow or using extreme hand supination can target stubborn fibers missed by standardized form. It's an intuitive way to find the most effective angle for your specific anatomy. But the analytical trade-off is that progressive overload becomes impossible to track. You can't compare your performance from week to week if the mechanical angles of the lift are constantly changing. Legends would often pair that feel with moments of total mechanical isolation. Using an arm blaster physically locks the elbows, ensuring the bicep bears the entire load to finish the muscle off. Summarizing the trade-off, optimizing for feel maximizes immediate muscle recruitment, but it forces you to sacrifice long-term trackable performance data. Then there is the absolute failure protocol. This means pushing a muscle past mechanical failure using drop sets and forced repetitions until it literally collapses and cannot complete another inch. The physiological objective is to recruit high-threshold motor units. These only activate in states of extreme physical distress, forcing the body to adapt to the massive strain. Lifters like Larry Scott used pre-exhaustion to reach this state of total failure more efficiently. By tiring the muscle with a strict movement first, they could push it to its absolute limit during the final sets. This intensity comes with a cost: central nervous system, or CNS fatigue. You are draining the body's overall electrical output, which impacts your entire physical system. Severe CNS fatigue demands much longer recovery windows, often 4 to 5 days, to avoid overtraining. Without that rest, your performance across all lifts will begin to plummet. Absolute failure forces rapid adaptation, but it is only sustainable for those with elite-level recovery capacity and pristine nutrition. To apply this, you have to view your training progress as a strategic economic investment of limited energy and recovery capacity. Every high-intensity set is a withdrawal from that account. This decision tree determines if the golden era methodology is right for you. Beginners, under 2 years, should stick to strict modern optimization. They haven't built the mind-muscle connection to safely train by feel. You must earn the right to train intuitively. Master the strict foundations of science-based lifting before you attempt to break the rules. For the optimizer who is still making progress, keep the spreadsheet. Use these absolute failure techniques sparingly as finishers at the end of a session to add a final burst of stimulus. However, if you're a veteran whose body adapted to standardized form and stopped growing, you likely require a more chaotic stimulus to force a change. In this case, stop obsessing over perfect metrics for a cycle. Use heavy cheat sets and tools like the arm blaster to find the intense stimulus your body has been missing. Science-based lifting builds the essential foundation, but integrating this high-intensity approach provides a specific tool for those pushing toward their maximum physical potential.